To generate 1099 electronic files, first you'll need to compile your year-to-date purchases. Go to Payables, 1099 Entry and Printing, and compile year-to-date purchases. First, enter the year to print. Then review your options. All vendors. By default, all vendors is selected. Reports in 1099s will be generated for all of your vendors when this is selected. One vendor, vendor number. You can update the 1099 for one vendor. This can be used if the wrong 1099 type was originally selected, or the amount has changed and you want the program to recalculate based on the checks for the tax year. Note, if the change needed does not involve changing the type of 1099, you can edit the amounts on the 1099 entry screen. Print report. If this box is selected, after compiling the totals, the program will automatically print a year-to-date purchases report for all vendors. You can now print or preview the report. If you need to edit any vendors, you can go back to the vendor entry to make any changes to the 1099 type and ID. Create 1099 file. When you're ready to generate 1099s, select the Create 1099 file. A 1099 record will be created for every vendor that has the 1099 information selected in their file. Use Remit to name address if entered. Select this box to use the Remit to address entered on the vendor accounts as the name and address for the 1099 file. All dividends are qualified. Select this box if you want to treat all dividends as qualified dividends. When the checkbox is selected, the dividend amount will be printed in both boxes 1A and 1B of the 1099. Tip: if you have many stockholders and only one is not qualified, check all dividends are qualified and then just edit the one that was not. Warning: if you do not select this option and there are some qualified, you must manually edit those 1099s. Create 1099 for amounts over. You can specify a dollar threshold amount for creating 1099s by entering the amount here. The Create 1099 for amounts over entry should be $600 for 2025 reporting. For 2026 reporting, the threshold will be $2,000. Backup withholding GL number. If you are generating 1099s with backup withholding, the GL number used for withholding must be entered in payroll setup, federal tax rate tables, GL accounts, vendors, 945 backup withholding. You cannot enter the GL number manually in this window. State ID. The program will use the default payroll state and respective ID number for 1099 reporting. Click the State ID button if you need to enter an alternate number for 1099 reporting or are reporting 1099s to multiple states. If the state 1099 ID is blank, the program will automatically use the state withholding ID. Compile. When you click Compile, your selections will generate. If you have already created 1099s for the year and are recompiling them, the following message will appear. If you want to delete all records and generate a new file, answer yes. If you are only compiling for one vendor, just that record will be deleted. For example, in the case of correcting a 1099 type, you would want the incorrect record deleted. If you are selecting all 1099 vendors and have manually edited 1099s, you may not want to delete the entire file. In this case, you wouldn't have to redo your edits. You would want to individually select the vendor you are correcting or adding to the file. Note, if you compile and are missing vendors, you will need to edit the vendor file 1099 info and recompile. Then you can decide if someone needs to be added or removed. To edit a 1099, go to Payables, 1099s Entry Printing, Edit and print miscellaneous 1099s, or whichever type of 1099 you need to print. Enter the year and then use the lookup button to select a 1099. If you want to create a manual 1099, you must click the New 1099 button and enter the account number there. It will then populate in the View/Edit Miscellaneous 1099s window. After you've reviewed the information and are ready, click Print Forms. The Print Miscellaneous 1099s window will open. Make sure the year to print is correct. If you're printing on pre-printed forms, you can select one vendor to print a single 1099 and then adjust the margins as needed. To print the completed form on blank paper, select the print form you would like to be printed. When printing copy B, you can also select to print the instructions and use a duplex printer for this copy. To create the IRIS file to upload to the IRS, select Export 1099s to CSV, IRIS format, and preview or print again. Your File Explorer will open automatically where these files have been saved. The program will save the files in the data folder for the company you're generating from, and then export AP 1099 and then the reporting year. Separate files must be generated for each 1099 type, so you would go to the respective Edit 1099 window and use the Print option from that window to print and generate the IRIS file. There is a limit of 100 forms per CSV file. If you have more than 100 1099 forms of one type, the program will generate multiple files and label them 1 of 2, 2 of 2, etc. Both files must be uploaded to the IRIS system so that all forms are reported. The instructions for filing in the IRIS system can be accessed here. Datatech personnel cannot provide any guidance or support on the IRIS system. For help with the taxpayer portal, contact the IRIS help desk using this information.